What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about Safariland holster retention between the 6390, which is a level 2, meaning that the holster shell is 1 and the ALS mechanism is level 2. Then we're also talking about 6360, which is an ALS SLS with a self-locking system, an active locking system, and the shell as well. And we'll get to that here shortly. So a lot of you guys out there run passive retention holsters, and a passive retention holster is simply a holster that locks onto the light, and that's all the retention it has. There's nothing over the rear, and there's nothing locking on the ejection port. Passive's not a bad thing. It's kind of like, I equate it to like an iPhone 5. It's still a holster. There's a lot of holsters better than that one. And we're gonna talk about why you might upgrade to an active retention holster today as well. So what is ALS? ALS is active locking system, and that's what retains our pistol in this holster. Because when you look at this thing, it's just a bucket, right? It's a bucket with a lock, and it can do a lot of things for you. One is the biggest thing is a peace of mind. Once that gun goes back in the holster, you heard it lock, and now we're secure. It's not going anywhere. So this is a great option for you guys out there who are kind of maybe upgrading your equipment. Maybe you're buying one of our belts, you're getting mag carriers, you're adding a tourniquet, you're adding a dump pouch, med kit, whatever. Instead of staying that passive kind of beginning holster, you're now gonna upgrade to an intermediate holster like a Safariland product. When you look at these holsters, the ability to have that lock in place, all this holster does to release is activate the ALS button here. And you can add nub mods, you can do a lot of different things and accessories we'll discuss later on, but all it's gonna do is my thumb activates the ALS and the gun is now free. And that's simple as that. So when I make a master grip on the pistol, my thumb automatically sits like so on the pistol, I flex that thumb, gun comes out the holster. It's a very easy way to get the gun out and have a positive lock. This is a great upgrade for you guys out there when you're running carbine and a pistol. Trying to maintain two guns is a little bit more advanced, and as you're moving and running and transitioning a rifle to a pistol, having a sling that's loose, I've seen a lot of dudes in classes, a sling catches under a pistol and it will take a pistol out of a passive retention holster. So it's just one of those things that you want to be aware of. The upside to passive retention holsters every Kydex maker makes, right? They're mounted to whatever belt attachment you want, and it also does support a lot of holster or pistols that Safariland does not support in a holster. One thing that if you do have something unique, say maybe a 226, a VP9L, a different comped pistol, X5. Our holster mod section on the website supports about 10 different guns that Safariland doesn't support. Now, if you hit me up with like a CZ Shadow 2 or something, you're pretty much out of luck with me. But there are a lot of the mainstream crossover pistols in law enforcement that we all use as well that we support holsters for. The PDP 4-inch, 4.5-inch gun, the 5-inch, the comp, the 4-inch, the threaded barrels, all those PDP models that you want to have, or they're on the Walther website, we have a Safariland holster mod for. And the benefit to the mods, they'll fit multiple pistols. So if you want to upgrade as you go with certain frame designs or certain barrel lengths or slides, we can help you with that as well. So retention. It gets a little fuzzy when you talk numbers of Safariland, right? 6390, 6360, 6354, RDSO, all those things get confusing. Over the last 10 years, it's kind of stuck in my brain, right? I just know them. This one, the 6390, is the most common for pretty much about 80% of law enforcement, pretty much about same probably percentage in the military, and then civilians, it is kind of the go-to. We still have a crossover on all three consumer areas with a level 3 holster, which I'll show you guys here shortly. But if you're looking for a easy retention style holster for tactical games, for training classes, a security guard, law enforcement course, the ALS 6390 is where it's at. One of the benefits of a 6390 is you have a much wider holster position on the belt than you do with a 6360 level 3. And I'll explain the two differences later. But with a 90, you'll notice this is on our MH2 holster hanger. So the holster hanger is a fully adjustable forward cant. a true center based on your waist circumference and center line, as well as a negative cant on the holster. It also integrates our TQ hanger into the cant of the holster. So whichever way you cant this gun, forward, 0, or negative, this whole box will rotate with it, keeping it very close to the holster and not having a lot of snag hazard here. But as you clear, you're always going to clear the RDS enough to get back in the holster without having this in the way of the draw or in the way of the reholster. The RDS hood also is removable. You just pull it and it will come right off the holster, and you can put it back on, leave it on, whatever you want to do. See if I can do this on camera. Okay, so it's take it on, leave it on. It's up to you whether you want it or not. I go back and forth. The Walther PDP holsters with the Acro probably work the best out of any of the holsters. Glocks with the Acro, Staccatos with the Acro. This hood design is pretty poor. This is not the hood they should have with this. I've heard rumors there's a new one coming. Haven't seen one yet, but we'll see. But again, this is something you can remove and take it off. There's a little nub right here you'll see. This is not confirmed. I've heard it from multiple people. And again, I think sometimes people just come up with stuff, but they say it's to push it forward to clear the gun, which makes sense because this hood design is from a level 3 holster. Because when the bail rolls forward, it catches these two ears right here and it pushes the hood out the way a little further forward. But again, you could do the same thing with your thumb. If that's true or not, Safariland may or may not answer. I highly doubt they will, but they might. So when you talk about position, you'll notice my holster is 0 degree cant due to the MH2, and it's center line of the seam of my jeans. You can run this further forward, like so, in that 230 position. And if I crank on this, I kept the screws loose so I could adjust it for you guys throughout the video. But now you'll notice that negative cant. So now that scoop draw is available for you to get to, and it's just simply more of a negative, running that holster farther forward to center line, known as 230. This is something that's relatively new. You'll see a lot of the younger guys running it this way. You'll see some females running it this way. But again, it's just an ability for you to have a negative cant, especially in a seated position. It's much easier to get the gun out this way and in versus trying to fight it with a car seat maybe behind you. So again, that negative is an option for you. If you run it back towards your center line, right, and now you want, say you a little shorter torsoed person, your arm's a little shorter, having the ability to run it in the forward cant, now you have that forward cant that it comes with from the factory, but now that forward cant, you can tweak it. You can really fine tune this thing to fit how you want it to fit you. And that's the benefit when we designed this thing. It took about 2 years to come up with this. It's very similar materials to Safariland, so heat, cold, etc. It's a 2 1/4 inch UBL hanger. You'll notice when I take this off the belt, there's our UBL belt spacer built in here. So that way it allows you to use a 1 3/4 wide belt and not have the holster moving on the belt. I don't need a lot of leg strap stuff, right? So again, I can move, I'm not tethered to the holster, so my mobility is better in and out of a car, etc. But even that forward cant, it's much easier to get the gun out. I can still work with that, and if I want something different, I can tune that to myself. So accessories, as I mentioned, you have the MH2 holster hanger, which is that one I'm wearing now, that gives you that multiple cant adjustment. You can also use our TQ plate, which is basically a L bracket plate that bolts between the UBL hanger and the holster. That keeps this forward cant, but now for an agency that doesn't want you modifying too many things, that's a great way to add a tourniquet holster to the duty holster, and that allows you to have one compact unit. This is our new TQ holster. It's a one-piece pull design. We'll have more information on this very soon, but this is coming along awesome. We're really excited to get this out to you guys because now it allows us to give you one-stop shop packages. You can get multiples, one for the vest, one for the holster, one for the belt, etc. We have more on that coming soon. But who is this holster for? This, as I mentioned earlier, this is for anybody who's looking for an intermediate level upgrade from passive retention holster to now an active locking holster, and gives you that peace of mind that that gun's not going anywhere. So as I mentioned before, tactical games, training classes, anything where you are outside of a law enforcement capacity that you want that locking system peace of mind, that's what we got for you in the 6390 RDS. This happens to be for the Walther 4.5 inch professional model with the Acro X300. And that's what I got for you guys. Availability, we stock this holster in M&P, Staccato, SIG, HK, Glock, and then of course all of our holster moddeds, right? For the X5s, 226 X5s, etc. We stock them in the black, 16 colors of custom wrap, basket weave as well. All that you can find on the website at rdrgear.com. Guys, that's all I got for you today on the 6390. We're gonna take a quick break, swap out some gear, and talk about the 6360 Level 3. So let's talk about 6360 RDS Level 3. And the Level 3 is 3 types of retention, and one of them is not really retention, but I think that's what the nation kind of refers to. So number one is the SLS, self-locking system. That's the rubber bail up top. That goes down. The gun's still locked in the holster, right? So once the bail goes forward, we have our ALS nub right here, and the ALS is level 2, and the gun coming out of the shell is level 3, right? And once the gun goes back in, the bail can stay forward, gun's locked in place, you'll lift this one up, or you'll pull them all up. I don't like pulling it this way, but you got too much pressure and this is rubbery. So for me, you'll see me just do one of those, right? It's just the multiple fingers. So again, it goes back in, 1, 2, and I'm back in business. Gun secure, hood's over. And as you guys noticed, it cleared this to tourniquet as well, right? So again, we're on the MH2, which we talked about in the 6390 video with the tourniquet holster, MH2, and you'll notice is a 0-degree cant on me. Traditionally, a level 3 holster has a significant forward cant because that's how you have to rotate the wrist to get that bail. This here, the reason that design, and with the invention of MH2 allows a level 3 holster now to be ran at a 0-degree. Before, you couldn't because you had to have that forward to activate that SLS and roll that shoulder forward to get that. So once you had it on the belt, you would roll forward and activate the gun. That prohibited you from having the holster in certain position in the belt. In a level 3 holster, I don't personally, in the holster geometry of the product, I don't recommend running a level 3 holster anywhere further forward than like center line. You can go a smidge forward, but you'll see some people kind of coming where the bottom of the holster is like kind of at your big toe. That I feel is too weird because now the wrist can only go so many rotations forward. So as I index, that's a stretch for me right here, right? Because I'm trying to grip the gun and roll this thumb, and my thumb's not very long. So if I roll the ALS and then grab everything in one motion, now I'm good to go. And that's not one motion. That is my hand working in 3 different ways at one time. So if you ever take a class with Jared Reston group, Jared talks about running up the spine. So that's the spine of the holster right here, right? So my middle finger is going to run to the undercut of the holster. Index finger is straighten off the trigger, right? These 2 fingers, you guys know what this is, right? Crispy knows what this is. Crispy, know what this is? He does, he's shaking his head. So middle finger to the undercut, index finger straight off the trigger. These 2 fingers are kind of loose. Thumb is now going to activate the SLS bail, index the ALS. As soon as I index the ALS, 3 fingers towards my gun comes out. So when you do it all in one motion, it's basically the same as an ALS. Because if you watch me without SLS, right, it's just a little bit different in the rotation of the wrist. The further forward you put this holster, that's when this whole thing gets messed up. Because now I have a lot of articulation. I can come farther back and go forward versus me trying to roll and come forward. Today I caught myself in the range as I rolled this thing forward. I was coming here and I would catch myself looking over the top of the dot versus being upright and getting the gun out and gun to eyesight. So level 3 holsters are a little different. I get a lot of customers who want this. And I ask them, hey man, if you ever talk to me on the phone and I ask you, hey, is it a work holster or personal use? I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just trying to get you in the right direction. Because a lot of times this holster is perceived to be better or more retention. If you guys ever go back in time on YouTube, Safariland had two really, really good ambassadors. Mojo, Mil-Spec Mojo, Dom from Mil-Spec Mojo. Mojo had such a good work ethic in regards, somebody that I looked up to in working from a duty holster, because the amount of reps he would put in. And Mojo had this conversation one time, he was doing a video, his words were, you have to attack the holster. It's kind of a violent motion to get here and get the gun out. And when you attack the holster properly and everything works, the speed of the draw is extremely fast. And I think Mojo had some times like in the high 8s and low 9s for sub-second draws out of level 3 holster. Grim was another one, Las Vegas cop. Two really good dudes who had amazing information to share. Safariland kind of shit the bed, had a new marketing person come in, this girl that I kind of helped get a job there. And that just disrupted the whole process of the content creators with inside of Safariland. I hope they get that back, because that was a very, very good segment of information on their products that really helped a lot of folks in the right direction. They had a really good production, but Mojo and Grim, those two dudes really were kind of the pioneers of the Safariland's internal marketing source to get information on products. Nowadays, it's like, I think like one guy, Keith Garcia, right? So again, there's some old videos. If you go back on YouTube, you'll find them. But that's just some options for you to show you the dedication that you put into speed of draw from range time and time on task. That's all it was at Mojo, was time on task. Getting out there every day, repping it, not a bunch of dry fire, just getting to the range, putting dedicated time in to get that holster and get that gun out in a level 3 holster without really worrying too much about how you're gonna do it. The hand movement, getting the gun, and it comes out every time. So again, that's just something you can work on. And for me, it's just thousands of reps, because I've been around this product for over a decade now on my personal and with RDR, the wrapping, the modding, etc. So again, if you guys are looking for this holster, you can have it. Just know that you need a little more time on task to be as proficient as if it wasn't there and just this ALS was there, right? And the ALS is there's no one better than the other unless your job mandates you to have this. And the one thing about for law enforcement guys, for you guys out there who don't know the civilian world, is as an officer makes a vehicle approach on a traffic stop, or maybe it's a knock on a welfare check, whatever, that SLS bail can be defeated. Now this gun is in ALS mode only. So if something does happen, the gun can come out very fast, and they're not defeating both levels of retention at one time. So that's just a benefit for that. And again, if you guys want it, get it, but you don't really need it.